There's a saying, when the devil ignores you, then you know you're doing something wrong. Wait a minute, I'm not done now.
Tonight, Taraji P. Henson's brutally honest and emotional explanation of Hollywood's pay disparity is going viral.
Is Oprah Winfrey really the beloved icon we all think she is, or has she been hiding a much darker side? A wave of accusations from big names like Denzel Washington is painting a picture of Oprah few could have ever imagined. And if the rumors are true, her powerful reputation might be taking a hit that she'll never fully recover from. But how did this all start? And why are so many celebrities suddenly speaking out against one of the most influential women in entertainment? Let's dive into the story, starting with a shocking revelation that has everyone talking. The allegations from none other than Taraji P. Henson.
And if I can't fight for them coming up behind me, then what am I doing? I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, don't apologize. Don't apologize.
Taraji P. Henson, a name synonymous with resilience and talent, has been making headlines not for her latest role or award, but for her explosive claims about working with Oprah. Henson, who has faced her fair share of challenges in Hollywood, has always been open about the struggles Black women endure in an industry that often marginalizes them. But what she recently revealed about her experience on the set of The Color Purple has sent shockwaves through the entertainment world.
I'm just tired of working so hard, being gracious at what I do.
Henson has alleged that while working on the 2023 adaptation of The Color Purple, she was treated unfairly, both in terms of her safety and her compensation. Now, this isn't the first time Henson has spoken out about the pay gap in Hollywood, but what makes this particular situation so scandalous is that The Color Purple was produced by none other than Oprah Winfrey herself, someone who has long been considered an advocate for fairness, equality, and support for Black women in the industry. So, how could this happen on Oprah's watch?
It was completely outside of my frame of reference. I've been in show business since I was 14, and I've heard the stories of what happens.
According to Henson, during the filming of the movie, she and other cast members were expected to drive themselves to set in rental cars. This might not sound like a big deal at first glance, but Henson pointed out that they were filming in areas with high crime rates, which raised serious concerns about safety. Henson claimed that she asked for a driver or security considering the potential dangers, but was simply told that providing that for her would require doing the same for everyone. Henson, however, wasn't buying it. She felt that her request was more than reasonable, especially given her high-profile role in the film. After all, she was playing Shug Avery, a central character in a story as iconic as The Color Purple. So why wasn't her safety being prioritized? This particular grievance has struck a chord with many, especially considering the long history of Black actresses being treated as second class in Hollywood. Henson has spoken in the past about being underpaid and undervalued compared to her white counterparts, and this latest ordeal only adds fuel to that fire. In her emotional recounting of events, she expressed deep frustration and disappointment. "This is an insurance liability, and it's dangerous," she reportedly said in an interview with the New York Times. It's clear that Henson wasn't just speaking for herself, but defending the safety and dignity of Black women in the industry who are often overlooked.
Getting paid a fraction of the cost. I'm tired of hearing my sisters say the same thing over and over.
While these revelations are shocking enough, what really has people talking is how this all connects to Oprah. Oprah has built her brand on being a champion for the underdog, for the marginalized, for women of color. So how could she let something like this happen on a project she was so deeply involved in? Critics are asking why Oprah, with all her influence and power, didn't step in to make sure Henson and the rest of the cast were properly supported. Was Oprah too busy to notice the issues on set, or is there something more to the story?
I mean, I'm a conspiracy theorist to a degree. Like, when I connect dots that maybe shouldn't be connected, I don't know.
What makes this even more complicated is the pay discrepancy that Henson allegedly faced. Despite her leading role in the film, Henson has suggested that she was not compensated fairly. In fact, she was reportedly paid significantly less than what she deserved, especially when compared to others involved in the production. And this isn't the first time Henson has had to fight for equal pay. In her memoir, Around the Way Girl, Henson detailed how she was paid far less than her white co-stars in The Curious Case of Benjamin Button, even though her performance earned her an Oscar nomination. At the time, she had to cover her own expenses during filming, which only added insult to injury. So, when she claimed that she was once again underpaid for her work on The Color Purple, it wasn't entirely surprising, but it was certainly disappointing. Especially for a project with Oprah at the helm.
You get tired. I hear people go, "You work a lot."
Yeah.
I'll have to. The math ain't mathing.
What's even more alarming is how Henson described the overall working conditions. She allegedly felt unsupported on set, particularly regarding her safety and transportation issues. This feeling of neglect isn't just about a lack of resources. It speaks to a much larger problem of how Black actresses are often treated in Hollywood. Henson reportedly expressed that Black actresses like herself are frequently forced to advocate for basic necessities that should be a given on any set. And this experience was just one more example of that disparity. For someone like Oprah, who has long been seen as a trailblazer and advocate for Black women, this situation has raised serious questions. How could she allow a fellow Black woman to be treated this way on her own project?
You have a couple of pets as well, a dog and a cat with interesting names, to say the least.
Yeah. That's Oprah.
That's Oprah. Okay.
But it doesn't stop there. Henson's allegations have opened the floodgates, with other celebrities now coming forward to share their own experiences and grievances with Oprah. One of the most surprising voices to join the conversation is Denzel Washington. Washington, a Hollywood legend in his own right, is known for his integrity and strong sense of justice. So when he started to speak out about his own concerns regarding Oprah's business practices, people took notice. Washington has reportedly expressed frustration with how Oprah wields her influence in the industry, particularly when it comes to how Black actors and actresses are treated. He's not alone either. 50 Cent, who has had his own beef with Oprah in the past, has also weighed in, calling her out for what he sees as hypocrisy. According to him, Oprah has often criticized Black men in the industry while seemingly turning a blind eye to other powerful figures who engage in similar behavior. This isn't the first time 50 Cent has clashed with Oprah, but his recent comments have added even more fuel to the fire.
Have y'all spoke after this?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't have anything against Oprah.
You just called her a
I'm gonna tell you why.
You named your dog Oprah, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
What's particularly interesting about Washington's involvement is that he's not known for getting involved in Hollywood drama. He's always been seen as someone who stays above the fray, focusing on his craft and letting his work speak for itself. So for him to speak out against Oprah suggests that there's something deeper going on. Washington has reportedly been critical of how Oprah's influence has been used to marginalize certain voices in Hollywood, particularly those of Black men and women who don't fit into her carefully curated image. He's said to believe that Oprah's massive platform has, at times, been used not to uplift, but to control the narrative in ways that benefit her and her inner circle, often at the expense of others. These accusations have put Oprah in an uncomfortable position, to say the least. For years, she's been seen as a beacon of hope and inspiration, especially for Black women. But now, with stars like Henson and Washington voicing their concerns, that image is starting to crack. It's becoming harder to ignore the growing chorus of voices questioning Oprah's real motives and whether she's truly the advocate for equality she claims to be.
Tell her.
I would say, Oprah Winfrey, you know what you need to do, and stop hiding behind.
And it's not just about what's happening on the set of The Color Purple. These revelations are prompting a larger conversation about Oprah's role in Hollywood and her relationships with some of the most powerful and controversial figures in the industry. People are starting to ask whether Oprah's influence has been used more for self-preservation than for the greater good. Has she been protecting her own interests at the expense of others, especially those who have looked up to her for guidance and support? The fact that so many prominent figures are now speaking out suggests that there's much more to this story than we've been led to believe. As the allegations continue to pile up, Oprah finds herself at the center of a storm she likely never expected. Henson's claims have opened a Pandora's box, and it's not clear whether Oprah will be able to close it. Fans and critics alike are watching closely to see how she responds, but so far, her public statements have been carefully crafted and somewhat vague. She's emphasized that many of the production decisions on The Color Purple were made by Warner Brothers, not by her directly, but for many, that explanation doesn't seem to be enough. After all, as the producer of the film, Oprah certainly had the power to step in and make changes if she felt something was wrong. So why didn't she?
When it's time to renegotiate, I'm at the bottom again like I never did what I just did, and I'm just tired. I'm tired. I'm tired.
This question has left many wondering whether Oprah's public persona is just that, a persona. Is she a compassionate, caring figure she presents herself as, or is there a more calculating side to her that we're only just now starting to see? Henson's allegations, combined with the voices of other celebrities like Washington and 50 Cent, are forcing people to reconsider everything they thought they knew about Oprah. And as more details come to light, it's becoming clear that this is a story far bigger than just one movie set. This is about power, influence, and accountability in Hollywood, and whether even the most beloved figures should be held to the same standards as everyone else. But the story doesn't end here. As more celebrities come forward with their own experiences, the spotlight on Oprah only grows brighter, and with every new revelation, the cracks in her carefully constructed image become harder to ignore. Could this be the beginning of the end for Oprah's reign as the queen of daytime TV and Hollywood philanthropy? Or will she manage to weather the storm and come out on top, as she's done so many times before?
You have bullies in this business, And the bullies are so used to being bullies, they don't understand when somebody bite back.
Right.
Not bark back, they bite back.
Right.
What's clear is that this isn't just about one movie or one actress. It's about a much larger conversation happening in Hollywood right now, a conversation about how power is used and who gets to benefit from it. And as more voices join the chorus of criticism, Oprah will have to decide whether she's willing to face the music or continue to defend her empire at all costs. Now, if you thought the controversies were going to stop at Taraji P. Henson's issues with Oprah, buckle up because things are about to get even more complicated. Oprah's connection to figures like Sean Diddy Combs has raised more than a few eyebrows lately, especially with all the shady rumors swirling around him. You've probably heard about the recent allegations against Diddy that have been making headlines. And yes, Oprah's name has been dragged into the mix too. Could it be that her close ties to Hollywood's elite have put her in a position where she might know more than she's letting on?
Thought Diddy would be throwing all his celebrity mates under the bus.
I mean, that could potentially be coming when it's time for court and when it's time for him to testify. But what we're seeing right now is how important public relations really are to Sean Combs. He's desperately trying to control the narrative behind bars, allowing his attorneys to do
Let's dive into the heart of this new controversy surrounding Diddy, his alleged actions, and how Oprah might be connected to it all. If you've been following the news recently, then you know Diddy's been under intense scrutiny for some pretty disturbing accusations. And we're not just talking about the usual Hollywood scandals here. This is far more sinister and, honestly, pretty shocking when you dig into the detail. So, what exactly is going on with Diddy? Well, the story starts with a series of lawsuits and investigations that have been piling up against him. And we're not just talking about one or two accusations. There's a whole list of complaints, some of which involved serious allegations of misconduct. It all started to really get attention when Cassie, Diddy's former girlfriend, filed a lawsuit. She accused him of all kinds of troubling behavior during their relationship, and let's just say it wasn't pretty. The lawsuit reportedly described years of control and manipulation, with Cassie claiming that Diddy forced her into uncomfortable and harmful situations. Even though they settled the lawsuit pretty quickly, it opened the floodgates.
In her civil lawsuit, Cassie said that she was the victim of abuse, assault, and at the hands of Diddy.
After Cassie's case went public, more people started coming forward with their own stories. Some of these claims go back decades, painting a picture of Diddy as someone who allegedly used his power and influence to manipulate and control people around him. And that's where it starts to get really messy, especially when you consider how many high-profile names Diddy has connections to. And yes, Oprah is one of them. Now, it's important to note that Oprah and Diddy have a long history. They've been spotted together at events, and Diddy has even appeared on Oprah's talk shows over the years. In fact, back in the early 2000s, Oprah had him on her show to talk about his career, his business ventures, and his rise to fame. At the time, it seemed like just another celebrity interview, but in light of recent events, people are starting to question the nature of their relationship. How close were they really? And did Oprah know anything about the darker side, what Diddy was allegedly involved in?
I came here today just to tell the truth, so hopefully we can get down to the bottom of this. I'm 100%, the charges against me are 100% false, and hopefully due to time, we'll start to see that.
One of the most damning pieces of information that's come out involves a lawsuit filed by Rodney Lil Rod Jones, a former producer who worked closely with Diddy. Jones made some serious accusations that have turned a lot of heads. He claimed that Diddy hosted wild parties where all sorts of illegal activities took place. These parties, according to Jones, were anything but glamorous. Instead, they were full of disturbing behavior, and Jones even alleged that Diddy had hidden cameras in his properties to record everything that went down. Jones also claimed that Diddy was involved in some shady dealings with high-profile celebrities, artists, and even athletes, many of whom had no idea they were being recorded. These recordings, according to Jones, were used as leverage, a way for Diddy to maintain control over people in his orbit. It's the kind of claim that feels straight out of a Hollywood thriller, but multiple sources have confirmed that these allegations are being taken seriously by authorities.
Now, to the latest on the arrest of Sean Diddy Combs. This one has so many people talking. The disgraced music mogul facing federal racketeering, conspiracy, and sex trafficking charges. Both the prosecution and defense teams are set to discuss the next phase of action following the indictment, as investigators work to determine potential co-conspirators. But how exactly did we get here?
So where does Oprah fit into all of this? Well, the connection might not be as far-fetched as it seems. Remember, Oprah is one of the most powerful people in Hollywood, with connections that span across industries. Over the years, she's built relationships with all kinds of influential figures, including Diddy. And with rumors swirling about his alleged activities, some are starting to wonder if Oprah might have known more than she let on. There's been a lot of speculation about whether Oprah's close ties to Diddy and other Hollywood elites have allowed her to turn a blind eye to some of the more unsavory aspects of the industry. Could it be that Oprah, with all her influence and power, had knowledge of what was going on at these infamous parties? And if so, why didn't she do anything about it? One thing that's adding fuel to the fire is the fact that Diddy's properties have recently been raided by authorities. That's right. Diddy's homes in Los Angeles and Miami were searched by federal agents earlier this year, and according to reports, they found some pretty incriminating evidence. Sources have said that firearms were discovered during the searches, which only adds to the growing list of legal troubles Diddy is facing. And let's not forget that one of Diddy's associates, Brendan Paul, was arrested at the same time. Paul, who has been described as one of Diddy's right-hand men, was allegedly caught with illegal substances in his possession, further complicating the situation.
Hey, real quickly, all that commissary stuff, he's not getting any of that because people in the SHU have an abbreviated list. So he's out of luck. No stake for him. Yeah, he is on suicide watch. This guy thought he would have went home. All of a sudden, he didn't get bond. Remember, the first night that he was there, he was like an overnight.
Now, here's where things get really interesting. After news of the raids broke, 50 Cent, who, as we all know, has had a long-running feud with Diddy, took to social media to mock his rival. 50 Cent posted an image on Instagram referencing the court documents filed against Diddy by Rodney Jones. And he didn't hold back. He made it clear that he was enjoying seeing Diddy in hot water and even hinted that he wanted to get his hands on the tapes that allegedly exist from Diddy's parties. It's classic 50 Cent behavior, but it also adds another layer of drama to the already explosive situation. 50 Cent's post got people talking, and it didn't take long for the internet to start speculating about what those tapes might show. If Diddy really did record everything that happened at these parties, there's no telling what kind of dirt might come to light. And if some of Hollywood's biggest names were in attendance, the fallout could be massive. Imagine what could happen if footage of those parties were to leak. It could bring down some of the most powerful people in the industry.
Those individuals allegedly included high-ranking supervisors in the business, personal assistants, security staff, and household staff.
And let's not forget that Diddy's not the only one with connections to these parties. Other celebrities with ties to Oprah have been mentioned in the rumors too. It's no secret that Oprah's social circle includes some of the biggest names in entertainment, politics, and business. Could it be that some of these high-profile figures were also involved in the activities that allegedly took place at Diddy's infamous gatherings? And if so, how deep does this rabbit hole really go? What's even more intriguing is the timing of all of this. Just as Diddy's legal troubles are heating up, Oprah's name has been popping up in connection with other scandals as well. For example, her close association with Harvey Weinstein has come under scrutiny again in recent months. Oprah has long been criticized for her past friendship with Weinstein, who, as we all know, was convicted of multiple offenses involving behavior toward women. While Oprah has publicly condemned Weinstein's actions, some have questioned whether she knew more about his behavior than she's admitted.
Public realm, this is very significant, just from who we associate Diddy being and everything we've seen him do over the decades. Like you said, this is quite the downfall to go from, we saw the mansions back in March that were raided by the feds. So to go from living in those mansions to being in a jail cell right now, I think it really underscores the magnitude of what he's facing and the weight of the federal government.
It's a question that's been asked before, but with everything going on with Diddy, it's starting to feel more relevant than ever. Could it be that Oprah, who has positioned herself as a champion of women's rights and social justice, has been complicit in covering up the bad behavior of some of her powerful friends? It's a tough pill to swallow, but as more and more allegations come to light, it's getting harder to ignore the possibility. And it's not just Weinstein and Diddy. Oprah's been linked to other controversial figures as well. One name that keeps coming up in conspiracy theories is Jeffrey Epstein. While there's no concrete evidence linking Oprah to Epstein, the fact that her name has been mentioned in the same breath as his is enough to make people question just how deep her connections to Hollywood's elite really go.
A U.S. judge has ruled that the rapper and producer Sean Diddy Combs will stand trial on federal trafficking and racketeering charges in May. He'll be held in prison until then. Sean Combs has pleaded not guilty to charges that he used his business empire to transport women and male workers across state lines to take part in recorded performances. If convicted, he could face a life sentence.
If you remember, back in 2020, there was that wild rumor that Oprah's house had been raided by authorities in connection with an investigation into Epstein's dealings. Of course, Oprah denied the rumor and called it awful and untrue, but the fact that it spread so quickly shows just how much people are willing to believe that someone as powerful as Oprah could be involved in something shady. And with all the speculation surrounding Diddy and his parties, it's not hard to see why people are starting to connect the dots. So, what does all of this mean for Oprah's legacy? Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? For decades, Oprah has been one of the most beloved figures in the world. She's built an empire based on trust, compassion, and a commitment to uplifting others. But as these new allegations and rumors swirl around her, that image is starting to crack. People are beginning to wonder if Oprah's squeaky clean reputation might be hiding a much darker reality.
Not done. This investigation is ongoing, and I encourage anyone with information about this case to come forward and to do.
Of course, Oprah has always been a master at controlling her public image. She's navigated scandals before and come out on top, but this time feels different. With so many high-profile figures now facing serious allegations, it's becoming harder for her to distance herself from the drama. And if more information comes out about her connections to figures like Diddy, Weinstein, and others, it could spell disaster for her carefully crafted brand. So, what do you think? Has Oprah managed to maintain her reputation by turning a blind eye to the controversies surrounding her powerful friends, or is she being unfairly pulled into scandals that have nothing to do with her? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.